Alright guys, now we are going to create a fillable form in Microsoft Word in which we will practice on this student registration form. I've just taken an example where the students need to fill these all fields, but I want the students to only fill the fields and not mess up with the arrangement or the questions of the form. So I can restrict all of these fields, I can restrict all of the options, only the students are allowed to fill in the details. And not only that, we will be using multiple areas. We will be inserting the drop downs, number restriction, the custom date picker field, the customize entry field, and the checkboxes. So we are going to explore all of these options and how we can develop a complete working form in Microsoft Word. So first of all, you need to enable this developer tab. Now, the developer tab is by default disabled. So if you want to enable that, what we need to do is just go to any menu. Let's say I'm on my home tab. Just go to an empty space on, let's say, a right corner, and just right click here and click on customize ribbon. It will take you to this customize ribbon section where you will find this developer on the right hand side. It will be unchecked like this. So just check this and click OK. Now we have this enabled. Now we will insert all of the fields from this section right here. So you can see all of this controls where we have input style of the rich text control, the plain text control, the picture. If you want each student to insert their picture, we can do that as well. And we have many other options. So let's explore this one by one. So first of all, in the first field, we have the requirement of full name. Now, obviously we cannot use any drop down and other kind of fields for that. So this will be an open field for each student, so that they can write their name. So what we can do is just go to this plain text control field and let's click on this, but make sure that wherever you want to insert the field, you have the cursor blinking at that point. So put the navigation in that area and let's just press that. So you will notice that it will insert a new area. So if it is not fitting in properly, you can just adjust your fields accordingly and then it should fit. Moreover, if you want to make some settings or changes to it, you can just select that and go to the properties. And if I want to select the title and tags, you can do that, but that is required whenever you want to connect it to a external database. Otherwise, it won't be required. Also, if you want to change the color of the field, you can change that to, let's say, I want blue here. And you can also log the fields. Content control cannot be deleted and cannot be edited, but we will do later on when we restrict the editing of the fillable form. So right now we will keep all of the settings as it is and click OK. And now we can see that this field turns blue right now. Even that one, let's change it to default, that is automatic. Now in the gender, let's insert two options and I want the students to select from the drop down. So let's go in that particular area. Here we want a drop down, right? So if the drop down list is pretty simple and they only should have an option to choose from the drop down, then we will insert this drop down list simple one. And otherwise, if they are allowed to enter their own option, they can choose this one, combo box content control. So for example, I want a drop-down list, but with an open option. So what we can do is let's insert a combo box content control. By default, if we open this, we won't be able to see any option, but we can customize this. Let's go to the properties. And again, we don't want that because we are not connecting this form with external database. That is the part of some other topic. Here we will select the drop-down contents. We will add the drop-downs. So for example, I'll write here male. As you can see, the display name and value automatically is synced. Let's add female and let's keep all the settings as it is. Let's click OK. And now we can see that we have a drop down here. Also, if we don't want to write anything here, we can select none here and it will pick that field as well. Now, if we want to change the format, we can just simply change the format. Whenever you want to clear the format, for example, this is some weird format that it's picking up. So let's go to the home tab. And if we don't understand how we can reverse that format, just simply, first of all, what we can do is just clear all formatting. Now it will be easier for you to reformat that. So for example, I want the format to be like this. So let's choose a gender here. Now here, let's enter a name here. And in the date of birth, I want to show a date picker so that it will be easier for me to choose the date. So for that, again, let's go to the developer tab, and here is my option of the date picker. So we can just insert that and we can see that it is directly connected to a calendar. So it will be very easy for you to choose the date. Now guys, if you click on this month, you won't be able to go in the previous years. Like let's say on the dates in the calendar on the windows, it's very easy for you to switch the years. So for example, if I want to switch it from 2024 to let's say 1994. So I can click here and then click again here and then click again, and let's go back and we can choose it from here. But here, if we see this, we cannot click on this area. So in that case, let's change the date to let's say 1994, and now we can choose the month. So it will be more convenient this way. Now similarly, we have an age field. So we have to manually write the age, but I want to restrict it to 2 numbers only, and it should be numbers, not alphabets. So for example, here I want to write just 30. And if you want to clear the format, let's clear it from here. All right, we will format all of them to the same format later. But let's say I want to restrict this field to 2 numbers only. So instead of manually entering that, we will use the developer tab, and we will use the legacy forms for this, where we insert text from fields. Now it looks a very simple field, but it has a lot of functions. I'll explain you later the amazing functions of this. Now guys, here I can see the square brackets on both sides. So if it is showing you like this, then that's great. Otherwise, you can just enable that function. What we can do is we can just go to the file menu and click on options. And from here, we can go to the advanced options, and under the advanced options, and from here, just scroll down up to this point where it says show bookmarks. I want to show the bookmarks and click OK. Now you can see this square bracket sign. Now I want to restrict these fields, right? So let's right click here, go to the properties. Now I can bookmark this as well so that I can refer it to other parts of the document. For example, I want to repeat this field automatically on the other parts of the document. I can easily do this. I'll explain you this function later. This is very amazing function. So let's bookmark the field as age. And here, what we want to restrict it is, by default, it's regular text, but we will switch to number. The default number, if you want to print any default number, we can print that as well. But the maximum length of the number is 2 characters and the number format is 0. You can choose any number format you like. Similarly, if we want to automatically generate different form numbers, we can run a macro on it where we can assign an entry number and exit number, and it should process the form numbers automatically. Now here, if you're using the bookmark field, just remember to calculate on exit as well. So in short, what we have done is we went to the properties, selected type as numbers, default number is nothing, maximum length of the characters is 2, number format is 0, and we have enabled this field and enabled a bookmark as well. Now same thing, it will be an open field. So for all the open fields, we can use the plain text content control here. And if we want to adjust the field a little bit so that everything can fit in, we can do this. Contact details, we can insert this field. Similarly, all the fields which needs custom information, we can enable the same field here. So let's quickly insert it one by one. And here in the course enrollment, we want checkboxes here. So it's very simple. Just go to the developer tab, make sure the cursor is behind the text. Now let's insert a checkbox with it and put a space here. Let's insert a checkbox here as well, put a space, and here as well. Now, if you want to customize these checkboxes, let's say I want to show a tick mark instead of cross sign whenever the student chooses to enroll in a particular course. So what we can do is just select that and go to the properties, and here we have the option to check the box properties. So check symbol is marked as cross and unchecked symbol as none. So unchecked symbol is fine. We can just change this one. And if you want the tick symbol, so we can simply write here CEG and then open the options. You will get this fluent icons. From here, we can find this tick option. The code is E001, so you can use that. We have also used this one. If you like, the same option is here. If you like this kind of tick mark, you can use that one as well. So let's click OK, and let's click OK. And now it's showing like this. Same thing. If I want to insert the term enrollments as well, let's quickly insert that. Make a space, insert that, and let's insert that. Whenever you want to customize, just use it from the recently used symbols, and we can do the same for the rest of the options. Here we will do the same procedures, so let me just fast forward. Now we are done, and the next option is how did you hear about us? And here we will use this combo box content control, and let's go to the properties, and here let's write some sources. So let's say Facebook, Google Ads, Google Search, LinkedIn, TV ad. So let's say I have entered a couple of options, click OK. And now we have all of these options, but let's say that the student heard about us from the Instagram ad. So he should be able to write that. So for example, let's write Instagram ad. If we click anywhere else, we can see that we can enter this custom field here. Now here comes the most interesting part. For example, at the end of the document, you want the above information to repeat automatically. That is, if you want to automatically populate the fields, how we can do this. So for example, I, the name of the student, hereby confirm that the above mentioned details are accurate and true to the best of my knowledge. And here we should again repeat the name, and then we can allow them to enter their signature and the date. So how we can do this? It's very simple, but first of all, we need to change this field. So for that, we will not use this field. We will just delete this. And for full name, we will again use the legacy forms, in which we will use this text form field, which we used in age as well. So let's select this, and let's go to the properties, and right here, name in the bookmark. Just make sure that both of these should be checked, otherwise it will not work. So fill in enabled, calculate on exit. And rest of the settings, I will keep it same because I want the regular text to be entered here. So let's click OK. And now if I go to the bottom, let me just zoom it so that you don't make any mistake. You can understand that properly. Now what we will do is just hold the control key and press F9 key. What it will do, it will open the curling brackets. Now we will write REF. Make sure you write it in capital letters, REF. And then in the same format, you will write the bookmark name. So in this example, we have put the name of the bookmark as name. Just that's it. Now we are done. Now you might be thinking that whenever I write this, it will not show the details here. That's because we haven't processed the form properly yet. It will be processed, or it will be shown in the final version when we restrict the editing. Right now we are still in our design mode. So one more thing what I want to do is, I don't want the name and hereby word to join. So let's put a space here, and let's also repeat the name here as well. So do the same procedure. What will be the process? Let's hold the control F9. Once you see the curling brackets, write REF and the bookmark name. That's it. Now once the form is final, we can go to the developer tab and click on restrict editing. And what I want is, if you want to limit the formatting restrictions as well, you can just limit that as well, so that they won't be able to change any kind of format here. You can go to the settings and check all the recommended formats that it will limit. But let's say if I don't want this, I want to put the editing restrictions. And here it says allow only this type of editing in the document. Yes, just check this. And what type of editing should be allowed? Filling in the forms. That means that whatever fillable fields we have entered in the form, only the student will be allowed to enter those fields. They can't mess with the other fields or the questions or headings or change the formatting or sequence, whatever. They won't be able to do anything. They can just enter the simple fields which we have allowed here. So if you want to make the form empty, it's your choice. Otherwise, let's start enforcing. So once we are finalized, you can click here. And obviously it will ask you for the password to restrict the document. Let's restrict it. 1234 is the password. Let's keep it simple. Click OK. And now we can see that whatever information we have left, it's processes from this point. Now let's try. Let's enter a name. And as soon as we press tab, it will move directly to this field. Gender, just choose a date. Let's say this one. Just enter an email ID. So we can see that we have a weird format here, which we can edit later on because we are not allowed to change the format. So let's keep entering the details. I'll correct those later on. So let's put a number here. So if we try to enter age in some alphabets, let's write TU, press tab, it's allowing it. Let me just make some corrections. Restrict editing, let's stop the protection. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to edit that field, go to the properties and it should only allow the number, and that's it. Now let's clear the format from all of these fields so that we can see that properly. Let's go to the developer tab again and restrict the editing. Start enforcing 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's enter the name, enter the email. This is the contact number. We write 32 here. If we try to write more words, we can see that the numbers I'm trying to write more, but we cannot write it. If we write some alphabets here, although it's accepting here, it should change it to 0. But for now, let's see that it is restricting this to 2 numbers. Residential address, let's put a residential address. Let's say this is the residential address. Let's put a school name here. Let's put the parent name here. Let's put a guardian name. Let's say this one. And we want to choose our course, our term, and our learning mode. And how did we hear about this school? Let's say from Facebook ads. And now if we scroll down, we can see this magic. I, Saad Nadeem, hereby confirm that above mentioned details are accurate. So it's automatically picking up the fields from the top, not only here, but also wherever you want to repeat it. Again, in the name field, it's repeating that. Let's try to change this field. And by the way, guys, if you want to completely delete this field or try to mess up with anything here, you won't be able to do that. You just can enter a simple field here. For example, this is the new field. So we can see that we have the name here automatically mentioned. So guys, this is how we can make an amazing fillable form in Microsoft Word. So what I will do is just attach this form with the link of this video so that you can follow along. So just practice this by yourself and I will see you in the next one.